How often have you been told that forgiveness is essential in life? And how many times have we attempted it unsuccessfully? Furthermore, have you ever considered why forgiveness might not always be advisable? According to Buddha, forgiveness is often presented as a means to cleanse ourselves, find inner peace, and embark on a genuine spiritual journey. Through the forthcoming story, you'll gain insight into the true essence of forgiveness within Buddhist tradition. So, stay tuned until the end because what you're about to hear will challenge conventional notions of forgiveness, offering invaluable insights for interpersonal relationships and personal development. But before we proceed, if you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel, enabling notifications, and sharing the video. These simple acts won't cost you a thing, but will aid us in creating new content daily for your spiritual enrichment. Residing in an ancient monastery nestled amid the mountains of India was an elderly and sagacious monk named Keshav, renowned for his profound understanding of the Buddhist path. While his attire was modest, his eyes gleamed with the clarity of one who had traversed a lengthy spiritual odyssey. One day, a troubled individual approached the monk, burdened by unseen troubles in his heart. "Master Keshav," the man said, his voice trembling with emotion, "how can I truly grasp the concept of forgiveness as taught by Buddhism?" With his characteristic gentleness, Keshav motioned for the man to take a seat and began to recount a tale that would shed light on the path to understanding forgiveness. Once upon a time, Keshav commenced, there were two disciples of Buddha. They were the sons of a respected merchant from East India, a man devoted to his trade and committed to securing his family's prosperity. One day, the merchant observed that his children were spending more time at the feet of Buddha than tending to the family business. His concern deepened, casting a shadow over his countenance as he witnessed his heirs forsaking commerce to follow a man who appeared to spend his days in quiet meditation. This father, Keshav elaborated, believed his sons were neglecting their familial duties and growing increasingly resentful as he pondered the influence Buddha wielded over his descendants. Determined to address the situation, the merchant resolved to confront Buddha directly. Venturing to the place where Buddha held court, the merchant encountered him in a state of tranquil repose, his eyes half-lidded and a serene smile adorning his face. Anger surged within the merchant. He felt betrayed, convinced that Buddha was stealing his children's future. Consumed by rage and despair, the merchant devised a plan to publicly humiliate Buddha, envisioning spitting on him and holding him accountable for the perceived harm inflicted upon his family. But as he stood before Buddha, beholding his serene countenance, something shifted within him. The aura surrounding Buddha exuded such tranquility and peace that, for a fleeting moment, the man's vengeful intentions wavered. Yet, his pride recoiled at the notion of acquiescing to such profound serenity. Strengthened by resolve, he proceeded to spit in Buddha's face. The disciples of Buddhism moved to defend their teacher, but Buddha remained unruffled, his gaze steady and his smile unwavering. Keshav depicted the ensuing atmosphere as if a blanket of calm had descended upon the scene. Buddha, he recounted, did not respond with anger. He sat with eyes half-lidded, accepting the seemingly offensive act with an open heart. Witnessing Buddha's reaction, the merchant recognized the futility of his actions, and the anger he had harbored gave way to remorse. All the accusations and insults he had prepared flashed through his mind, yet in the presence of such serene tranquility, they seemed inconsequential. Buddha didn't rebuke the man, he didn't shame them. Instead, he extended compassion and tranquility. Keshav elaborated. Pausing his narrative, the monk underscored a pivotal lesson. "My friend," he imparted, "forgiveness mirrors that serenity of Buddha. It isn't merely a concrete action. It isn't merely uttering, 'I forgive you.' It unfolds when we're willing to release the past and perceive the individual before us through new eyes." Resuming the tale, the monk depicted how the man, moved by Buddha's compassion, returned home. The juxtaposition of the serene Buddha and his own act of spitting haunted his thoughts. That evening, Keshav recounted, the man wrestled with insomnia. His mind oscillated between the image of Buddha's tranquil smile and the memory of his own disgraceful action. He stood at the crossroads of remorse for his past and the prospect of a different future. Keshav underscored the significance of this juncture in the narrative. That man, he elucidated, was undergoing profound introspection. He grappled with self-forgiveness, plagued by guilt and shame over his conduct. Over days of inner turmoil, he realized that his mind incessantly conjured distressing scenarios rooted in the past. Imagination, Keshav asserted, can serve as a potent ally or a formidable adversary. Mishandled, it can perpetuate an endless cycle of anger and resentment. As time passed, the man began to grasp that Buddha hadn't reacted to his actions with condemnation, but with a clear purpose. Gradually, he relinquished thoughts of retaliation and earnestly sought forgiveness. One day, he returned to Buddha's presence, no longer consumed by fury, but with genuine remorse. "Forgive me, revered master," he implored. "My ignorance has blinded me. I was solely fixated on my life and my family's prosperity." With his eyes half-lidded and a serene smile, Buddha listened to the man's plea. However, when asked for forgiveness, he gently declined. "I cannot grant you forgiveness," he explained, "for there is nothing to forgive. You have committed no offense against me." The man, taken aback, inquired why Buddha refused to forgive him, as Keshav elucidated. Inspired by Buddha's example, the merchant embarked on a journey of self-forgiveness. With time, he learned to release the burden of guilt and shame that had plagued him. Meditation became his sanctuary, where he mastered the art of observing each moment without succumbing to past memories or future anxieties. Dear friend, Keshav addressed the attentive man, forgiveness isn't merely an outward gesture, but an act of compassion that extends inwardly as well. As we learn to perceive each moment anew, transcending painful recollections and releasing the grip of our destructive thoughts, we pave the path to inner tranquility. The narrative progressed with the merchant who, inspired by spiritual practice, gradually healed past wounds and approached Buddha to express his gratitude.